This episode of Co-op is brought to you by Prototype, a sandbox-style action game available now. GoDaddy.com and Gamefly.
What do you mean, how?
You didn't cry once?
No.
How? The opening sequence, the whole montage.
You know, I'm just not a baby, that's it. Hey,
Maybe
I mean,
a person has no feelings
maybe if you
about... Oh, hold on. How convenient.
Jason? Yeah, hey.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it in today, man. I just puked all over the carpet, man.
Ew.
Purple.
No, dude, I don't need to know the color of your puke, it's fine.
I had the worst diarrhea.
Oh, dude, that's
Missed
so
toilet.
inappropriate.
I had to like clean it up with my hands because it
Oh.
my throat.
He's really sick.
Feeling really gross. I would hate to get you guys sick, but if you guys really need me, I will be there.
Definitely don't come in. Definitely don't come in if you're... No.
I could still hold the camera.
Please, stay home.
You sure?
Spare us. Yeah. No, get some rest, man.
I'm just gonna stay in bed
Yeah.
and have some chicken.
Yeah, alright, dude. Seriously. Dude, take care of that cough. That's
I'll
gross.
see you soon.
Alright.
Okay,
Alright, I'll
yeah,
talk to you later.
I'll get better. Alright. Yeah! Woo! Gonna baby. Step on it. Yeah, do it. Alright, guys. Spot back a minute. Get to win it.
The thing I like about you most is you'd run away with me. So pack your bags and your shotgun too. We might run into zombies. We're always down for that co-op multiplayer action. We're always down. We're so down. We're so down. We're so down for co-op. We're so down for that co-op action.
When I was sitting and thinking about playing the game, I was wondering, am I playing this because I really want to play multiplayer in Uncharted 2, or am I playing this because I'm really excited about Uncharted 2 and I just want to play any form of the game that they're going to give me?
Yeah, no, definitely the latter. Because yeah, I was one of those we don't need. Why is Uncharted getting multiplayer? It does not need it. It's a great story. Feels like an awesome action movie. Why are you wasting time and resources on this? That said, I had fun with it. I think maybe we should start on deathmatch, which is pretty standard, but they have a solid shooting system. They have a solid cover system, where
and a climbing system as well.
I think that's what really separates it from other ones.
I loved how they just integrated a little bit of platforming in an online co-op game, because there are ledges in the blown out building where you have to jump gaps in the floor to make it onto the perch where you can get a lot better shots of people, and everything between the scattered debris all through the levels. You can take cover to surprisingly a lot amount of objects.
So I think it was the biggest thing I had to get used to is, for competitive multiplayer shooters, I'm used to playing first person, and other than Gears of War, but with this, I felt like there's so much more you need to keep in mind of as far as your environment is concerned. And instead of more of a run and gun gameplay, it's a lot of I felt like a lot of cat and mouse and hide and go seek.
I've never played on the first Uncharted, so
really?
so there are even some action moves that I wasn't even aware that were in the game. For example, I was on the second story of this blown out building, and Drake, I was a part of the enemies, and Drake was climbing up, and I could hear someone grunting, so I like walked over to the ledge, and I was gonna, shoot him, and the dude just like grabbed me and threw me over the ledge, and like I died.
Oh wow, I didn't know about that
I was
either.
like,
It's an
what?
awesome move. Yeah.
I didn't even know that was in the game.
Visuals are fantastic in this.
We haven't seen the final game. We don't know how the single player is going to look. But you got to imagine it's going to look a lot like that.
Yeah.
And it is really impressive. And, just throughout, I'm just constantly amazed by that. And just, little details. Even like hanging signs, which are usually just like dirty textures that don't say anything. They're all detailed. You can read all the words on them.
When you go inside all the buildings that they have, like everything's got candles or tons of stuff on the wall or pictures
Everything
or debris
feels lived
broken.
in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Did you guys have a favorite weapon in Deathmatch?
M4.
That thing is powerful.
my
Yeah,
movie.
definitely. I would go for that the first time every time. If not, then I would get the what's the other one? The fail.
The FAL.
The
yeah.
FAL.
I keep thinking it says fail, so if you
Yeah.
grab this gun, you're going to fail. But no, it's
a
actually
little hard-
good.
It's a little hard. It reminds me of the battle rifle in Halo, basically.
Yeah.
I find I didn't use the pistol that much, but that thing packs a punch too.
Yeah, it
those
does.
are actually
a
pretty
lot
good.
of people walk around with just pistols, I found. So.
Yeah, pistols and then like the melee
Yeah.
attacks.
Yeah.
One thing with the weapons, I feel like the grenades, and this is a tough line to balance. I feel like they're a little bit too strong.
The radius is pretty
The
big.
radius is really big, and if you're caught in that radius, it's a death.
Half of the time you're playing the game, you're in corners, you're in alleys, you're in these sort of like, you're trying to bottleneck the enemies coming towards you, so you are sitting in that bottleneck and you're sitting in cover, so you're kind of already in this very like standstill state, and when that grenade comes, you don't have any time, and even when I try to roll out of the way, that splash damage is so large that it's almost nothing you can do. The plunder mode
Yes.
was the other multiplayer that they showed outside of Deathmatch, which is essentially capture the flag,
Yep.
basically. But the thing is that I like this is that when you're carrying the idol, you can throw it.
And that's like an ingenious little like tweak to their typical design.
Yeah.
And you can really just pull back and swing it, throw it up. And it gives you like that extra 10 feet or so into your territory where your teammates should be able to grab it. But then usually that's coming with a rain of enemy fire as well.
Yeah.
And if they get wiped out, then the enemies can grab it, bring it back. But it makes for like some really good tug of war matches.
The game does creative stuff for the environment where they'll put the chest that you need to return it to on a second story level. So you actually have to team up where while one person's running up there, you have to throw it up through like a bombed out wall to get it up there so that they can place it, at your base. But I also saw some people doing some really creative things where they were sort of throwing it along to each other.
Like a chain?
Yeah, and he would throw it to the other guy that was like 10 feet away from him, and that guy would pick it up, and then they would sort of repeat it to get it across the map faster. So seeing strategies like that makes me really interested to see how that could grow.
Yeah, I definitely saw situations too where the enemy team thought they were throwing it to better their advantage, but it actually went into our hands instead, and we were just like, oh, thanks, and took off the other way.
Yeah, because you start getting shot, you just kind of chuck it and hope
Yeah.
it's going the right way. But if
Exactly.
you don't, if you throw it over that wrong wall, like,
Yep.
yeah, you just kind of screwed your team over. There only are 2 levels, and that does get old. But what do you think of the ones that they chose? Do you like them?
Well, like I said, visually I think they're great, but
Right.
Other than that, they both sort of felt the same. They're both square. They both felt
Yeah.
like boxy. They both had the middle
There's a plaza
area
in the middle that's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very
sort
good
of like
point.
a variety of levels and platforms and rooms that you can sneak in around the perimeter, and then a bunch of cover.
Yeah, I wish there was one other level type. Like you said, they're both like the box type.
Yeah.
Maybe something that more stresses the platforming, like maybe more a jungle setting or something. That would have been cool. Just to
It
see
has
it.
a lot more camouflage.
They could-
Did you guys play at all the sort of the campaign sort of co-op mode?
Yeah, and that was fun. It was a nice change up. First of all, just having a more like a mission-based game.
Yeah, it's like clear an area, fight a bunch of guys, and then there's sort of like a mid-boss, some sort of like super
Right.
soldier character that you guys
and
need
a
to
whole bunch of body armor.
exactly that you need to fight out, and then it's then move forward to the next area and kind of rinse and repeat and do the same thing.
But the one thing that disappointed me was the co-opness of it. basically just felt like you're 3 dudes just charging and shooting.
Yeah.
There's never any times like you split up once. You send one person up into this old decrepit building to
to
like
push over the
To, like
bookshelf.
throw down a bookshelf.
You know, and that's cool, but I wanted more of that, and I hope there is more of that. I hope it's more like Resident Evil 5 where you break up more often. We saw a little taste of it, but like I said, it just was like a bunch of waves of enemies. It almost felt like horde mode in a way.
Yes.
Like a mobile horde mode where you just keep moving forward.
That's exactly how it was. I think we're all super juiced up about the single player of Uncharted 2. That's really why we're going to buy the game, and that's what we're the most looking forward to. So I feel like multiplayer is just icing on the cake for me anyways for this game. I don't know how much of I'm going to do the standard deathmatch, but the plunder, and I'm definitely going to play the co-op modes for sure.
It's definitely a game where you don't expect it to have like a good multiplayer, so when you play it, it's great to have.
It's a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect it to be this good, and like I said, I wasn't looking forward to it. But now I'm glad I played it, and I'm glad they put it in.
Yeah, definitely.
So we got this week's 2 chats tomorrow. We got one for Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
right?
and
That's
then-
like at noon.
Dude, we have 2 more that we have to film on the next day, like back to back.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're really stretched thin this week.
It's too much.
We're
It's
spread
so much to edit. It's crazy. I don't know what Jason's doing right now.
You are the prototype, Alex Mercer, hiding in human form. You step out onto the streets of New York with no memory but limitless power. As a terrifying viral epidemic sweeps across Manhattan, top-secret Black Watch special forces move in, transforming it into a war zone. Delve into the mysteries of your origin, the true nature of your power, and your part in a conspiracy 40 years in the making. Fast and deadly shape-shifting combat, over-the-top locomotion and agility, and unique disguising abilities. Deep conspiracy-driven storyline. Prototype. Available now.
I like that part of it too.
Yeah,
you know,
especially when it comes to the gunfights. Like, you know, having like someone to back you up, someone to cover you, like that's what the AI is so good in this game. You know,
one of my
like,
favorite things.
They come out and there's like boom, 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 boom. Bow, 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 bow.
Fucking shit. Oh, dude, that doesn't sound good at all. How you feeling?
Awful. French death flu, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's breaking your heart.
Yeah,
You
but
look comfortable though. You look like you're resting. Got everything you need.
got my iPhone, man. That's all I need. Been playing
Yeah.
games.
What are you playing?
Have you seen Star Defense?
I really want to play that game.
It's cool. They showed it off at the last Apple press conference because it's like legitimately cool looking. It's basically tower defense on a globe. So you can use your, you know, it's got touchscreen controls so that you can spin the world around, and then there's a path laid out on the world, and you know, you place the towers on it, the guys walk in, it's tower defense.
Okay.
The thing that I like about it, I know a lot of people like field runners and like, you know, desktop tower defense because you get to kind of like lay out your own path.
Right. Yeah.
Well, my first tower defense game was actually Pixel Junk Monsters, so I was not raised on the
Yeah.
build your own path
Right. Yeah.
sort of game. I like the ones that have a set path for each stage. And this game, like I say, turns out to be the best one on iPhone. The controls are great. You can quickly and easily zoom in and out of any of the planets.
Oh, okay. That's
It's got, I think, 5 different tower types. There's a cannon one, there's a flame tower, there's a electricity tower, there's like the laser tower, and you know, the nice thing about this game is that each of the enemy types, not each of them, there are certain enemies that can be harmed by any of the towers, but several of the enemy types just don't get attacked by certain ones, and so that's where the strategy comes in, you know. But yeah, I've spent several hours with this game already. And then beyond that, Engimoko, the makers of this game, I mean, I think they're some of the best iPhone developers yet, particularly because it seems like they're taking the platform very, very seriously.
Oh, agreed, yeah.
And this game is the first game of theirs to use what they're calling Plus Plus, which is their version of basically Xbox Live.
Oh, cool.
But for the iPhone.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
check it out. You have a unique login just like on Xbox Live, and that looks just like you're pulling up your Xbox Live pane there. It's got trophies, which they're called awards in their system, but I mean it's the same thing as achievements, and you get them as you're playing through the game. You can actually challenge your friends to games in this system as well. And of course, this is going to be persistent for all of the upcoming Engimoko iPhone games. So I mean, it's just the beginning of something really, really cool in the future. I'm ready for more plus integration.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
I say, yeah, even if you've played a bunch of the other tower defense ones, I mean, it's not quite as it's not the thinking man's game that Geo Defense is. Yeah. It's not as.
But that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a little different.
I don't need to get my ass kicked every time I play a tower defense game.
Exactly. Yeah. This is much more friendly, and God, it's just a beautiful game. I'm sure if you're playing it on 3GS, it's like super silky, super smooth. But I'm playing it on 3G, and I still, only when there are very many enemies on the screen am I noticing any sort of slowdown or anything. Nice. I've just been really impressed by it. It's a really fun game. I highly recommend it. Yep.
Awesome.
GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Plus, enter code CO4 when you check out and save an additional 15% on any order of $75 or more. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com.
Yeah? Good? All right.
So yeah, I decided that it would be way better if I just zoomed in on the eyes here, on that chat, because that was a pretty emotional part, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, well, let's just show the, because all the expressiveness is in the eyes,
So
right?
window to the soul.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
totally.
If they're the window to the soul, then what's better than showing them really close up, and held it there. I was just like, this is the emotional part of this scene. I think that's something we've got to focus more on in co-op.
Yeah.
It's just really showing the emotion.
Oh God! Why? Oh gosh!
Did they seize the weapons? Over 300 rifles. What now? Now, brother, we bust them out. Now! Head over there! Nice job, brother. No one messes with the McCalls.
It is really cool how both guys, they have different styles of combat, and their concentration modes reflect that as well. You've got Ray, where his is, put the reticle over the guys, then you let go, and it's just like da-da-da-da-da. Thomas is with his, where you just, all you do is you hold down the R trigger, and then you flick the right thumbstick to simulate doing this with a gun, and he'll just pop to anybody who's in range and do it.
Yeah. Ray to me felt like the heavy, while Thomas was he was always in back with his rifle. His specialty is the rifle, right? So he can sit from very far back, zoom in and kind of pick guys off. Yeah. While Ray is, kind of the run and gun 6-shooter, So he runs in with his double 6-shooters and just kind of picks guys off one at a time,
They each use they have their own specific weapons that they can use as well. If you're playing as Thomas, that's got the lasso, so you'll be doing the climbing sections, and you can use the bow and arrow.
As well as the knife.
As well as the throwing knives, yes.
Throwing knives are a ton of
Throwing
fun.
knives are really fun. And Ray can handle the Gatling gun, the large one of those, and he can also throw dynamite, which is sort of like grenades in the game.
And I used the dynamite a little bit, but I used his 6-shooters a lot more. Yeah. And I really felt that they'd paid attention to the strength of both characters. In the town level, I think it was the Ghost Town or one of the other town levels, where it was Ray walking down the middle of the street, just fucking balls out, shooting at everything. But then you have Thomas, walking along the balconies and the roofs up on the left and picking off guys, and like I played Ray, so it was really cool walking down the street and seeing my AI character up there doing it.
I played as Thomas, so I was more of a keeping a distance, kind of picking off guys from hiding spots, and having Ray to go just walk down the middle and just watching him fire at guys like crazy, and he sort of like created a great distraction, and he also would save my ass quite a few times in the game.
I call dispense justice. And pull back.
In the beginning, I have to tell you, like, I was really frustrated by the game. I hated the 6 shooters. It wasn't until I got used to the kind of floaty aiming that the game has that I kind of got more into the 6 shooters. And the auto aim, of course, helps. The initial scene where you're in, the initial setting, the Civil War battles you're in. I mean, that's what actually scared me in the beginning, because initially they start you off in the Civil War, in this battle where you're fighting in a trench, but soon you get out of that in the second chapter. Immediately I felt like, okay, this is the Call of Juarez that I like. But what really nailed it for me was the upgrades, because once I finally upgraded my guns, the way I played it is I literally just stocked up money the whole game until about the middle, where I had enough for like the highest range, like Ranger guns.
Right.
And once I had those, then I felt like a badass.
I found the auto aiming to be a really nice assist, especially as Ray, because with Ray I would just charge in, and then and if you charge in close enough, then he'll actually target 2 guys at once. The only thing I didn't like about the combat really was the cover system was kind of wonky sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I'd want to go into cover and he wouldn't. Other times I wouldn't want to go into cover and he would. Once I was in cover, I really liked it because I was like, oh, I can barely peek around this corner. I can have degrees of peeking over and above, and that felt really nice. But the getting into and out of cover, I think, is a little broken.
It felt me really wishing I had a button to put into cover. And besides the cover too, the depth of field effect that it has too. It's even when you're aiming, the depth of field, it was so choosy sometimes that often my whole field of vision was just blurry, and I'd be like, what am I aiming at? I don't know what I'm doing, It was really frustrating.
You never are stuck doing one thing for too long. Each chapter is 18 to 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
And even the firefights, it's 3 to 5 minutes in this little hub, and then the game is immediately pushing you forward to this next event. Yeah. It's now you're riding a stagecoach. Now you guys need to break into this building, lasso up to the top, and cover Ray while he's stealing this over here. Now you're doing a prison break. Now you're escorting station wagons while you're getting away from Comanche Indians, and take a Gatling gun and shoot it from behind.
Not station wagons, covered wagons.
Station wagons, you're right.
I never felt frustrated through the game. I never felt like I had to restart too much, except for the quick draws. Yeah. That was the one part of the game that really, really frustrated me. I mean, there was, it's like the boss battles, right? You come to the very last guy, and they're kind of like, hey, well, why don't you prove you're a man? And it goes into the mode where it just kind of shows the side holster. And you have to kind of move left or right, depending on, wherever the opponent is, to keep him in view. And then you have to make sure and keep your hand in place just above your gun, so that you can draw in time to draw. But I just felt like it was so hit or miss so much of the time. I felt like so much of the time the bell would ring, and I would jam my analog stick to the left, and he just wouldn't move, or he wouldn't move in time, and I'd be lying on the ground with a bullet to my chest. It was really frustrating to me.
I would agree that is the weakest mechanic in the game. I still loved it.
And I think the reason why, even though I totally agree, it's probably the most frustrating part of the game. It's definitely the area of the game where I had to restart more than any other section, but visually it's amazing. And also, it feels intuitive, like using the left joystick to move, to keep that guy in focus.
The only thing that kind of marred that experience for me, well, other than mechanically, the thing that marred it for me visually was he would draw, you see the reticle go up, and 80-85% of the time you're shooting them in the balls, because that's the first time that the reticle turns red, so that's when you're going to shoot.
I really wanted to be shooting guys in the face, honestly. That was
the
chest, something
if you
badass.
Wait for it to get up that high, they've killed you before, so it's ball shot, whatever, I still won. And those different little pieces and those different little vignettes, they're all broken up by a really compelling story.
I agree, yeah.
Surprisingly compelling story. I was like, man, it's not on the level of Tombstone or anything.
The promise of that treasure has attracted a shitload of lowlifes looking for easy money.
Are you talking about us, little brother?
That treasure is nothing but a fairy tale.
The only thing that kind of detracts from that kind of stuff is the animation, you know? I think you put it best when you pointed out that it's kind of like they look like puppets when they move sometimes, you know? They look a bit over exaggerated sometimes, which is kind of cheap
to their actions. But I still thought the writing was great. The voice acting was super top notch.
Oh yeah.
The South, where the treasure is hidden, live a people who hate the white coyotes as much as we do. They will sell us the weapons.
The one thing that really jumped out at me was the two areas. There's twice in the game where you go to these little hub areas, and there's a little shop there that sells you some guns, and then there's like some wanted posters on the walls that you can take missions from.
Yeah. You
can hop on a horse, run really far across the land until you get to your mission point. There's little things that happen along the way, like you can rescue people that are being attacked by Indians or being attacked by outlaws. And then you get to your missions. The missions are different. There's like 3 missions for each of these little hub areas, and it was like it kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, whoa, now it's suddenly an open world. Yeah. It's suddenly an open world game for these 3 missions that I can do, or I can go straight back into the linear game and continue on with the story.
I think that's a theme that I think carried through the entire game. Is kind of like mixing up the gameplay so much, and while that was really appreciated, I think overall I kind of felt that Call of Juarez offers lots of really interesting gameplay, and it does it adequately. I think that's where it kind of ends for me, because it wasn't like anything I did in the game was extra fun or was really good, but it's that none of it was bad. Like all of it was a little entertaining, you know?
And see, for me, I would say that they did all of these different things, and they did them all really well, and I had a really, really fun time. It's might be one of my favorite games that I've played so far this year, just because it felt that good playing it.
Yeah, this is a genre that's like horribly underrepresented in video games, and I get it from like a design perspective, using old guns from the 1800s in a genre where we're used to using automatic weapons with laser sights, but it's such a good job of putting you in this setting, having this great art direction for a timepiece that like I really wanted to see in video games. I like being able to walk around and explore these environments. And
this is a much stronger game than I thought it was going to be. Part of what played into that, I think, was also just this game is gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
And they did a good job like setting up these wide vistas and with these big like broken Rockies in the background.
Single player is slightly short, 6 hours on the dot. You came in like 5 minutes and 52 seconds.
But I'm totally going to replay as Thomas.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't feel lacking at all. The story feels complete. They jam-packed so many environments and so many things that you do. Even after 6 hours, I was like, whew, that was a lot.
What's wrong, Billy? No money for new games? Well, try GameFly. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 6,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website and the game is yours, at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Co-op fans will get a 2-week free trial when they go to gamefly.com/co-op. Some restrictions apply, see site for details.
And that is a wrap. I think we're good for the day.
Cool, yeah, that was a good chat.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go start logging this footage ASAP.
Okay, cool.
Alright,
yeah. Man, did Jason really sound that bad?
He should really go to the doctor. I was really worried about him.
Yeah.
I think I might actually check on him on the way home.